101.9. It's Wednesday, the 8th day of September, and you're tuning to Win FM for another episode of Voices. We send greetings to all our viewers and listeners in the various time zones around the globe, but especially to those within our federation and the wider Caribbean. We would have given kudos to our sponsors. We started a bit late this morning. I want to say good morning to the world, to our Governor General, and of course we have the awesome navigator, ex-soldier and Calypsonian also logged in. Our friends around the world, Rosemary up in New York, Jennifer Richards in Atlanta, Brenda up there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Anguilla, etc., etc. Welcome to another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, host of today's program, and we have with us today within the studios special guest, no stranger to the studios or the airways. We're talking about Ras Kalunji, and he's a voice of, I would say, most things African, representing the interests of folks throughout the diaspora. And today he wants to talk about the situation around the world with, as you pointed out. Well, introduce yourself.
The attack. Greetings, brothers and sisters, here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, Amigo and Oli, and our brothers and sisters and progressive people listening via the World Wide Web, the internet, and those in the diaspora. Today, this morning, we'll be discussing the United States government, the FBI in particular, raid and the African People's Socialist Party in the United States, and linking them to Russian propaganda. They're saying that the Russians are using local groups within the United States to spread their propaganda. But we see this as the ongoing attack on African people and people of progressive forces around the world, especially with what is taking place with the war in Ukraine. Now they want to criminalize us and associate us with all kind of negative connotation when it comes to African people struggling to free themselves. It's nothing new. We could go back in history and see the same thing what happened to Dr. King, Malcolm, Marcus, the Black Panther Party, and other organizations throughout the ages, even Paul Robeson. But it's the same attack, it's communism. All of us is communists. So basically, that is the attack. But what is really happening is that the imperialist and fascist system, which is capitalism, is in a crisis. So they're looking at everything to stop our people's progress. But as we go ahead, Brother Socrates, we'll play a clip to hear from Brother Amali Yesheteli. He's the chairman of the African People's Socialist Party. But
how current is it?
Just recent, about a week or 2 weeks ago. That's when the raid took place in St. Louis and in the Uhuru Center in Florida.
You said 2 weeks ago there was a raid?
Yeah, on his house in St. Louis.
And he's who? He represents it?
He's the chairman of the African People's Socialist Party.
Okay, if the clip is queued up, we'll give it a listen.
Yeah, Brother Trent, play the clip, Democracy Now!, with Brother Omali Shateli.
Mimi Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. As we turn to look at the FBI raiding several properties in late July in St. Louis, Missouri and St. Petersburg, Florida, tied to the African People's Socialist Party, which leads the Uhuru movement. The Pan-Africanist group has been a long-time advocate for reparations for slavery, a vocal critic of U.S. foreign policy. The raids came as the Justice Department indicted a Russian man living overseas named Alexander Yanov, using U.S.-based groups to spread Russian propaganda. The groups were not named in the indictment, but reportedly include the African People's Socialist Party. One of the FBI raids targeted the home of Amalia Shatella, the founder of the African People's Socialist Party. He accused the FBI of targeting his group for their political work. He's joining us now from St. Louis. Amali, welcome back to Democracy Now! We actually spoke to you first in about a quarter of a century ago in 1996 when Democracy Now! Just began. Can you, though, go back to the end of July and talk about what happened? Talk about that day of the raid. Where were you?
My wife and I were awake. We were sitting at the dining room table discussing how we're going to be moving for the day. She is responsible for, has organized a doula program to train African women, young women, in becoming doulas. And this is in a city where in the first year of life, enough black babies die to fill 15 kindergarten classes every year. So we were talking about that, and I actually was preparing to go to the gym. And then we heard this loud racket outside, this noise from loudspeakers demanding that the residents of this property should come out with our hands up and nothing in our hands. And as this was being said, loud flashbang grenades were exploding all around the house, and I was later to learn in the back stairwell of the house. So I asked her to allow me to leave first and to get on the phone to call people to let them know that we were being raided. And she tried, but was unable to do it because they had jammed our phones. So I went down the stairwell, and when I got to the bottom of the stairwell, these laser dots from automatic weapons were bouncing off my chest, and I heard these commands to move toward them, toward the light. There was a large armored vehicle in front of my house. There were camouflage-clad troopers, FBI agents, and I don't know who else, with flak jackets and automatic weapons. My wife followed me down, and on her way down, a drone went past her head going up the stairwell into the house. So I went outside and was zip-tied at the side of the house. There were, I don't know how many FBI agents there were, but there were a lot of them and a lot of different vehicles. And my wife came downstairs. She was handcuffed behind her back. And I'm asking them why, what's going on. They said that they had a search warrant for my house, and I asked them to see the search warrant. And they conveniently didn't have it on them, but it was somewhere in the vicinity, and they'd get it. We were told to sit on the curb, which we didn't comply with, and they said, well, you can sit in the backseat of the car. And we're saying, I don't want to sit anywhere. I want to leave. That I don't even want you here. I don't want to be here with you. They said, again, why are you here? Why are you attacking this house? They took my cell phone. They said that they were there because later that morning, there was going to be an indictment out of Tampa, Florida, against a Russian national. And should he ever come to the United States, he would be arrested. That somehow my name was involved in this indictment. So that was the basis they gave for the arrest. I didn't know it at the time, but across town, and one of our offices was being attacked. This was an office of the African People's Solidarity Committee. They used battering rams to go into that house, into that center. And upstairs, there were two residents. These were white people who were also handcuffed at gunpoint. They had already knocked out the windows in the house, in my house. They had knocked some doors loose from the hinges. They had come to the back stairwell. As I mentioned, they used flashbang grenades in the rear of my house, plaster all over everything. And in St. Petersburg, Florida, 27 days after they had done what appears to us now to have been a test run on July 2nd, with someone pulling into the parking lot in broad daylight, and from his car trunk, pulling a military-grade flamethrower to torch the 15 by 25-foot red, black, and green flag that was on this 50-foot flagpole. And this had occurred. FBI, Homeland Security, local police came out. They refused to charge the guy with anything except some kind of misdemeanor mischief. They refused to characterize it as arson. And so it's upon trying to understand that initially, clearly suggested to us that it was not just some casual guy who just happened to have a flamethrower in his trunk, who didn't like us, who did this, but that the state was somehow involved. And then 27 days later, as I mentioned, they would attack that same building, the same building, by the way, that you referenced, where we came under attack in 1996 with 300 local, county, state, and federal forces. So it's the same building, and this time they didn't say anything about Russians or indictments. In fact, nobody was arrested. They used all the tear gas at that time that they had in the city of St. Petersburg against us. So clearly, we've been targeted. They stole cell phones, they stole laptops, they stole iPads, they stole something like 40 years of archives that we have in that building in St. Petersburg, Florida, of the history of our movement, of our party, and the struggle there in St. Petersburg. And they also they went to the residence of Akilia Nai, who's a young woman who oversees most of our communications work. And they told her a lie that someone was breaking into her car to draw her outside of the house. And then at that time, they forced their way into her car as she opened it to check the car. They stole her cell phone, and she is one of those persons who's also a so-called unindicted co-conspirator, along with me, Penny Hess, Jesse Neville, and so, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Well, Marty, this is an astounding story. I mean, here for those of us who are familiar with the radical movement in black and brown communities in the United States, the African People's Socialist Party has been in existence for more than 40 years. It's part of, it arose out of the black community and is one of the few organizations that has consistently maintained an anti-capitalist, a socialist, an internationalist perspective. And now suddenly you're being accused of being pawns of the Russian government. What sense can you make of this attack?
I think that what we're experiencing, and by the way, this is May was 50 years of existence for the African People's Socialist Party, but you're right. I was a SNCC organizer. We came out of the whole civil rights movement. And I think that we're dealing with the fact that the United States is facing an existential crisis of sorts. The whole social system is, where it was this uncontested hegemon for the longest period of time. It is now being perceived by much of the world, and I think rightly so, as a force that's losing its grip on the world. And
Okay, we have to take a station break at the moment because we do that like every 15 minutes. But when we get back, we'll go to the foundation of what you brought for discussion today. So Trent, take us to a station break, please.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be, is the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley got it all about the flavor. Shirley never let me down. When I lime it at the beach on the town, Shirley biscuits always feel like home.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be, is the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley, the Caribbean's favorite biscuit.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Once again, good morning, and you are listening to Voices on WinFM 98.9. My name is Socrates, host of the program, and today we have Vasculine Day in the studio. The clip we played a while ago lays the foundation for the discussion that's about to follow. So because you're more au fait with what you're talking about, I'm going to let you lead on this, and let's speak to the topic at hand.
Well, basically, Brother Socrates, we have to be cognizant and aware that the forces who want to keep us oppressed and downpressed and suppressed do not want our people to organize themselves and uplift themselves out of the morass that we are in. Now, this particular attack on the African People's Socialist Party in relation to Russia, we have to look at it in a very serious way, because that is what our detractors do all the time. They try to tie us into things like terrorism, and because groups who oppose U.S. policy domestically and foreign in the United States the U.S. government see them as domestic terrorists. That's the code word that they use in order to put these groups within that form that they are domestic terrorists. So we are saying is that what we see took place in the 60s and 70s is reoccurring again. That's why he's saying war is being waged on African people globally. And we have to be in solidarity with each other. That's why we are highlighting this. Because based on the war that is taking place in Ukraine, they want to tie certain groups within the United States to say that they're spreading Russian propaganda within the United States. And black people in particular, they have targeted Russia as one of the main enemies, China, and black people in the world globally. They see this as an existential threat towards U.S. hegemony and the U.S. empire. So we're just coming with the information to inform our people that when you hear these kind of things taking place, you have to be very cognizant and know that these are our people and we have to be in support of them. Because it's the same thing that was taking place when the United States was supporting the apartheid regime in South Africa. Black people globally rose up against what was taking place in South Africa.
You're talking about certain organizations.
Yes.
Because when you say we, I'm going to ask you the simple question, what's your group? Who do you represent? Who's Vasculine? Because you say we, and the people who are going along their happy daily lives, unconcerned, unperturbed, unaware of this. So when you say we have to be, who are you reaching out to? Who are you speaking about?
We're talking about black people in general, everywhere, globally, because this is a global struggle. You see, a lot of people, we only look at what is happening here locally. But what is happening here locally is happening to African people everywhere. Because you see, okay, I'm going to show you the link. Based on the war that is happening in Ukraine right now, the United States government is saying, to our government in particular, and governments who are involved in the citizenship or investment program, that you cannot sell passports to Russians anymore because they have sanctions on Russia. Mm-hmm. Now, these same countries that have sanctions, especially in Europe, that are being said that they put sanctions on Russia, is buying oil from Russia every day. They cannot survive without oil and gas from Russia. Mm-hmm. So how come they're going to tell we, you can't sell passports to Russians, but these same people who put sanctions on Russia are buying oil from Russia on a daily basis?
There is a move to put embargoes on that at the moment by the European Union. I don't know how successful that's going to be, but there's a discussion in buying less oil from Russia. So on that level, there's, I would say, even though there's some level of hypocrisy, as you pointed out. We, in the smaller islands in the region, we don't have a lot of latitude in terms of redress.
No, we do. We do. That is the problem.
You don't have the unity.
No, listen what I'm saying to you. When we look at the struggle against apartheid, right? Because I was involved very much so in the anti-apartheid.
But you were based in New York.
Yes, but that's what I'm trying to show you. That's where the power is. Mm-hmm. Black people in America have a lot of power. So even though they try to put pressure on us, we have a base within the United States to rally for our cause. But you see what I'm saying is that our leadership don't see that link.
So the group that you mentioned, the chap who spoke, he was really because he's a threat?
But they see him as a threat because they're saying that he have links with this guy in Russia who they indicted in Florida. The FBI is saying that he's a threat because they run for local politics in Florida on the basis of reparations. And Brother Yeshiteli said that he knows the guy because they did a Zoom program sometime in the future, right? And before. And he's saying that they're trying to link this guy to say, no, this group, because there's a link. If I did a Zoom program with somebody, right? They're trying to link me now to this guy to say that I'm a propagandist for Russian propaganda within the United States. Not only them, because remember now, we see Mr. Blinken, the Secretary of State, he had a tour of Africa. And in Africa, he trying to tell the African nations, the different African nations, that they must not do no business. There should be no support for Russia. And they tell him straight up, look here, you can't tell us that. Because Russia have been supporting the anti-colonial struggle in Africa for over 100 years. President Museveni of Uganda held a press conference with the foreign minister of Russia, Mr. Lacroix, I think his name is. And President Museveni said, look, these people have been supporting our struggle for over 100 years. When you, on the other hand, was aiding and abetting the colonial forces in Africa. Even in South Africa, the Madam Minister told Mr. Blinken that you can't come here and tell us who is our friends and who should be our enemies.
It's one of my things that when you let your enemies tell you who your friends could be, you're in some deep, deep trouble.
Exactly. So what I'm saying to you, we begin to realize that on the African continent, that the African leaders, because they know the support that they got, not only from Russia, but China. President Museveni went into full detail. He said, look, the African National Congress was founded in 1912, right? The Russian Revolution took place in 1917. And from ever since that, they have been supporting the African National Congress in every aspect, especially with the armed struggle. Then he went on to say when they had the revolution in 1949 in China. From ever since that time, the Chinese have been supporting the African liberation struggle.
Yeah, but not without a vested interest.
Well, you see,
that
is the problem. What I'm trying to show you, right? But the vested interest that you're talking about is different to one from the West.
It's still one of exploitation.
Okay, good.
Because what China's done is to put Africa under the economic gun by giving them loans that they can't repay.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, Brother Socrates.
Let me finish. Giving them loans that they can repay and seizing their ports. Once you see the country's port, you control the economy.
Listen what I'm saying. That is propaganda. And I have the information.
So what you have is factual. What I've read is propaganda.
Yeah, because...
So my research is propaganda.
No, okay, I'm going to show you the link with the propaganda, right? Because China is the world leading economy right now. And the United States is doing everything to spread propaganda in China. I'm going to show you the link. There's a place in China where is a region called Xinjiang, where Muslims are located. They're saying that the Chinese government is committing genocide on the Uyghurs, they call them Uyghurs, in China. And it's totally false.
It's totally false.
It's totally false. There's no genocide.
So all the global media, all the media houses that have been putting out the story, they're all propaganda.
It's all false.
I see.
You see, that's what I'm saying. And the U.S. propaganda is so intense that our people fall for it because that's all they hear. For instance, I'm going to come back local to the United States. Look at the Black Panther Party, the Panther 21 case, right, in New York City. I think it was in 1968, 69, somewhere around there. That there was conspiracies to do all these things. Rob banks and do. It's all propaganda.
I will go with that. It was all about this, I forget the word I'm looking for, but to emasculate the black communities. They actually introduced drugs in those communities, etc. I know that.
Okay.
I know that. So I go along with that. But you're not going to get me, you're not going to get to convince me that Russia's interest in Africa is purely altruistic, same as China.
Okay, let me talk about it. Let me talk about Russia. Has Russia ever killed or assassinated any African leader?
I don't have the material with me right now. But I'm going to find it and show you where Russia has gone into Africa, seized villages, and actually control the local government by killing people down there.
Okay, good. I don't have.
I don't have it with me.
I'm not aware of that. No, let's go to China now. Right? Have China ever assassinated or killed any African leader?
I don't know.
There's no evidence.
I do not know. It doesn't mean that their policies favor Africa's interests.
But okay. Their policy.
They're all the same.
No, I don't agree.
They're all the same.
I do not agree. I see it as propaganda because I have the information.
They're all vultures. When it comes to Africa, they're all vultures.
Okay, good. Let me show you another example. In the Second World War, right, the United States and Russia and the Soviet Union came together to fight Nazism. Right?
Mm-hmm.
No, okay. At any particular time, whether Russia or China is against African interests, we could also go against them also. But what I'm saying, at this present time, there's no evidence of that. That is my position. There's no evidence of that. That is U.S. propaganda.
You would have done your research and bought your material prepared for this. I didn't bring anything. But I'm saying again, based on what I've read, the same way you've read the research, I've done the same, and I'm saying that Russia's and China's interest in Africa is not, and have never been, purely altruistic.
Okay.
But you're here to present
yeah.
the case of black people being targeted and victimized in the U.S. and around the world, etc. So we can discuss that.
Yeah, but that's another discussion. We could prepare another program for that, where you're talking about the interests of the policy of Russia and China in Africa, right? We could deal with that because I have information.
As I said, we'll deal with what we deal with today.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to show you now, there's a lot of evidence.
Okay, we got callers trying to get in on the phone lines. So we're gonna open the phone lines. We have a request for answering the phone. So if you get calls, Trent will take them from the public. Please, thank you. We have a caller line. Yes, good day, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning, the King.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, and good morning to Las Columns. This is Jeremy here.
Yes, good morning, brother.
I'm listening to the King engaging you there, Kalonji, but I just want to say this. Let us look at the pattern. Let us go back to history. Now, remembering when President Biden was a senator in the Reagan administration, how he spoke out against apartheid in South Africa. Let us look at what is happening today, because I have already stated, while he was campaigning to become president, he told the black community that if they don't vote for him, they are not black. Now let us look at all the black women that he has promoted, including Kamala Harris. Who are they married to? Kamala Harris and also the speaker, his press secretary, and others. Now, I'm saying that to say, we have a saying that goes, some people would say, they keep moving the goalposts. You see, the common enemy of the black man, woman, and child, well, let me not say who they are, but let us look at the narrative and the agenda. Because while Madam Natalie Pandor in South Africa told Blinken, when you go back to your spaces within your peers, don't speak negative about the continent. I mean, they actually threw rotten eggs at Blinken in South Africa a couple of weeks ago. But you see, what Kalunji is saying, the king, we are so comfortable in this matrix, this Babylon system, that we don't even, like I said, I can't even find the words. But let me just say that we are so comfortable in this that we no longer are questioning things. We just swallowing everything. You know, let me say this, the king. Change is unstoppable. The earth itself is making that change. Nature itself is making that change. The universe is making that change. What is with us? Now, right now on social media, Chris Rock has rejected Will Smith's apology for the slapping when he hosted the Academy, the Oscar. And when that slapping took place, the world leaders were meeting in Dubai to usher in the New World Order. You know, we have to start pay attention to the trends. Because believe it or not, it is geared against us. You see, Will Smith slapping off Chris Rock was a distraction because all of that was happening when they were in Dubai trying to bring in the New World Order.
Are you saying it was orchestrated?
Yes. Yes, do your research. And again, the king, I'm going to say this to you because you and I are in the tourism industry. And during the last 2 years, we've been hearing Caribbean tourism is dead in the water. Our male leaders have failed us, and the women are speaking now in South African politician Natalie Pandor, who shut down Blinken. We have Mia Mottley. We have had a first vice president, I think, in either Brazil or one of those South African countries.
Colombia. The vice president is a black woman.
We need to wake up. The king, you have said to me that you've been singing. Well, your voice is needed again. So get on board and be a part.
Yes, sir.
Because our words are vibrating. I mean, look at what is happening in Europe. Europe is under heat wave, flooding, fire. And then they use the HARP machine now to cause deadly flooding in Sudan. You see how the narcissists work?
They use a HARP machine to cause flooding in Sudan?
HARP.
King, please, don't be an echo right now.
Yo, I asked you a question. Don't get insulting. Don't insult me. I ask you a question to get clarity. Don't accuse me of being an echo. Don't try that.
The king.
Wrap up, please. We have a call on the other thing.
We are calling.
Caller 11 voices. We lost a caller.
But Brother Socrates, this is a national security document I have here, right? And they're saying certain recommendations to stop black people globally from coordinating one another. In weighing the range of U.S. interests in black Africa, basic recommendations arranged without intent to imply priorities are: 1. Specific steps should be taken with the help of appropriate
Let's take this call because, yes. Caller 11 voices. We lost the caller. Okay, we lost the caller. Is anyone there?
Okay.
Wrap it up before we go to the next station break.
Okay.
Okay, let's take this call. Caller 11 voices. Thanks for keep trying.
Hi, good morning, the king.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm giving thanks for life. And yourself?
Count my blessings first. Everything is okay.
And good morning to your guest there, Kalonji.
Yeah, good morning.
May I have permission to make my
Most certainly, sir.
introduction into
Most
the-
certainly. Go right ahead.
The King, I can understand what you're saying because the pattern would show that none of these external partners, as I might call them, be it Russia or China, from the pattern, because the Greeks and the Romans and the Arabs and the Lebanese
Germans.
and so many of the European other guys who are younger siblings has come and they have exploited their older brother. At the same time, the older brother still has the foundation, still have the blessing to bestow blessing on all the nations. So, given that pattern, the King, yes, I can understand the pessimism that you are echoing. And one would say, well, I had a conversation yesterday, and one would say, well, our sisters and brothers from Haiti, they are criminals, so don't let them in. And one would say, well, others came and they did not show the criminality as to a certain extent. So why discriminate our sisters and brothers from Haiti? So in the case of Russia and China, in which some are scholars from in the continent and the diaspora are looking at China with that sort of same pessimism that they're just coming to exploit. But one would say, well, give them a chance because it's a give and take. China is not going to come and invest for nothing, but we wouldn't know and should know what we would give to China because we need infrastructure like railroads and roads and bridges and the like. And given the fact that Dr. Ericana Chirambawi has already made the case that it's only 15% of the continent has been exploited, if we have another 85%, we should sit down at the table and say, well, look, listen, we need these foreign guys with these technologies to assist us. Can we allow a 20% to be given to them? Not in an exploitative manner, but no one is going to give you nothing for free. So can we afford a 10, 15% to get under the purview that would take flight in terms of foreign investment, and then we can still settle for that other, vast amount of percentage, having benefited from the infrastructural technology and roadworks and networks and aviation and everything that the continent needs to really thrust itself forward into the 22nd century and beyond, and the investment in our youth. So I can understand it. It is a precarious balance that we have to strike. But we're going to need foreign investors. But we have to know that we cannot afford to attach ourselves to none of them because they have that same intention to exploit because of our nature. Because we are the biggest brother and the eldest brother. Of course, we'll have to give to our siblings. That is what the former Prime Minister was accused of, right? Even though he did not appoint a lot of his siblings to certain respective offices. But it will happen because I will always give my sister and my brother something to eat.
All right.
It will always happen that way.
We want to thank you for that point of view and that, contribution.
Thanks for listening.
We do have to go to a station break at the moment, but when we're back, you get a chance to read the documents, okay?
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come
Financial services, where money is made easy.
Good morning. You are listening to another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, host for this program, and we have with us today Ras Kalanji, and we had a few calls from the public. There's a hot topic about the treatment of Africans, the interests of Russia and China in Africa, and what's happening with our black brothers and sisters in the U.S. So, Ras Kalanji, if you may read that document you were referring to.
Yeah, this is a document, again, national security document, right? This document exhibit 10 of U.S. Supreme Court case, right? National Security Council Memorandum 46, March 17, 1978, right? This is done by a subject, the Black Africa and the U.S. Black Movement, right?
1978.
In 1978. This is some of the recommendations. Specific steps should be taken with the help of appropriate government agencies to inhibit coordinated activity of black movements in the United States. Number 2, special clandestine operations should be launched by the CIA to generate mistrust and hostility in American and world opinion against joint activity of the two forces, and to cause division among black African radical national groups and their leaders. 3, U.S. embassies to black African countries especially interested in Southern Africa must be highly circumspect in view of the activity of certain political circles and influential individuals opposing the objectives and methods of U.S. policy towards South Africa. It must be kept in mind that the failure of U.S. strategy in South Africa would adversely affect American standing throughout the world. In addition, this would mean a significant diminution of U.S. influence in Africa and the emergence of new difficulties in our internal situation due to worsening economic prospects. This is the last one. Number 4, the FBI should mount surveillance operations against black African representatives and collect sensitive information on those.
Okay, we got to take this call. Call 11 Voices.
Hey, good morning, King.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for your patience. Glad to have you aboard.
How are you doing? How are you doing, Kalanji?
Good.
It's always a pleasure to listen to you guys, but I don't want to go all the way over to Africa. That's where we came from, my generation. And so I'm African too. But I like to be particular on my doorstep. What is happening now? And everybody could attest to that because they live here and they live in it. A long time ago, and not too long ago, we had what you call the mom and pop shop. We helped the Chinese to kill it. We also noticed that downtown, one of the biggest and the most popular, largest trade company in St. Kitts, have lost a piece of real estate in Bastia to the Indians. And those people, they like Kalonji say, not Kalonji, King?
Sir.
All of them have the same thing.
Same agenda.
Peace, King.
Yes, sir.
All of them, all of those people have the same intention to our people. They're not here to help us. They're here to help themselves.
Of course.
They use all opportunity to empower themselves and make us empowered. And not only that, they get to those who we vote in authority.
Some of them are complicit with the tax shelters or colleges that we can't get.
King, like I wonder if we cutting a whip, we buying a whip to cut our own. I will not use that word.
We know what you mean. We know what you mean.
But I'm telling you, why am I going to Africa and Uganda and Russia and all of that? Look on your doorstep. How can we fix these here? A lot of people write a lot of things, and I read a lot of things. But there are a lot of things that are written to suit the writer and to make sure they perpetrate their agenda. But we must read. And we must read other people's news too. At the same time, we must look to see what is happening to us right here on our doorstep and see how best we could deal with it. Rather than going on to Africa, they got the problem and we have ours. What can they do to help us? And what we can do to help them without what shall it profit a man that he should give up his own soul?
Let me finish that.
Thing, being a serious situation. I hope one day we'll be able to get it fixed.
Okay. Now,
have a good day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Now, Ras Kalonji and Journey and such like person have this vital role that they have to play because too many of us are just blasé about our existence. So I appreciate when you come on the radio and you speak to our people about things that are happening to us, affecting us, and of which we ought to be aware. And that's why you always pose a question. And this caller there. Let me pause and take this caller. Caller 11 Voices.
Good morning, King.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
And good morning to the Ras brethren there.
Yes, greetings, my brother. Long time me hear you.
I hear, man. During World War II under Joseph Stalin, millions of people were slaughtered in Russia. We got to follow the path of our so-called allies. Under Chairman Mao, millions of people were slaughtered in China. We know about Tiananmen Square. We know about Hong Kong. If they could do that to their own people, what are they going to do to us?
Point.
Why are the leaders in Africa not saying, let us push out these colonialists and these middlemen and get together and utilize our resources to make ourselves stronger?
We have the resources.
Why we want to replace one colonizer with another?
But you,
Russia has mercenaries all over Africa doing God knows what. You know what? Russia and China don't have what America have? Whistleblowers. China and Russia are the most repressive sensitive countries.
They tolerate
in the world.
no opposition.
Look what China doing right now with the COVID situation. Got all the cities them locked down, got the people them balling for food. These are the people we want to ally with. Remember earlier on in COVID, there were China black people, African people out of China saying African people is spreading the disease. So all that is propaganda. This was coming from these people, the African people. African nations went along and said, we're going to shout some of the Chinese too. You got videos of Chinese people in Africa banging people with sticks. These are the people we want to ally with. Why we don't ally with our African brethren? Africa has have the most resources on earth. Where you think Russia, China, America, everybody in there coming up play nice?
A vested interest.
You understand? Me ain't saying America is an angel because they engineered a coup in 2014 in the Donbass region, which destabilized what's going on. We start everything right now. Treaties were signed between NATO and Russia, not
Hillary Clinton kill Gaddafi.
Exactly.
And NATO went against them. So, as I was having the discussion with somebody the other day, if it was reversed and Russia was giving weapons to Mexico and putting them on America border, America would have done invade them since yesterday.
Exactly.
So all of them the same?
No, I don't see it that way.
All of them are the same.
We cannot take sides. We cannot take sides in this.
Listen my argument, my brother.
The approach is different.
Listen my argument. Listen my argument.
Hello?
Yeah.
We cannot take sides in this thing because we are the chicken leg on the plate. Africa is the chicken leg on the plate. Everybody want to bite.
From the
China
Portuguese, the Dutch,
Russia is not our
the
friend.
Germans.
Let us get together as African people on the continent and in the diaspora and fix our problems ourselves. We do not need any outside influence. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We got about 2 minutes before news time, so what do you think? Go ahead.
What I'm saying, right? I said to you already. In the Second World War, the United States and the Soviet Union fought together to defeat Hitler.
The U.S. joined the war theater late.
Yes, but what I'm saying,
by design.
They fought together. What I'm saying to you, in any struggle you must have allies, my brother.
It was also the British, the Australians. It was a coalition.
Yes, so what I'm trying to show you, if they could part with the Soviet Union and wage war on them, If China, the Soviet Union is waging war on us, we could part with them too. This is geopolitics.
What the Russians and Americans did was similar to when the French and the British got together for the sole purpose of defeating and annihilating what they saw as a common enemy, the Kalinagos.
Exactly.
So all of them same.
Yeah, but no, what I'm trying, but hear what I'm saying to you. You see what we are missing, Socrates, in our colonial struggle, right? The colonial forces has never given us any assistance to get rid of it.
I appreciate that.
That is the difference.
I appreciate that too.
Yeah.
So while we appreciate the hypocrisy of the Americans, we must also look at the sinister interests of the other powers who are encroaching on Africa's soil and pretending they're giving a handout.
But what I'm saying at this particular
we don't need handouts. You know?
Yeah, at this, but we don't need hands out. But what I'm trying to show you, the United States in 1970, President Nixon took all the manufacturing and industrial jobs to China. They were enemies, but they needed cheap labor.
Policy, correct.
Yes. So what I'm trying to show you now.
Understand that, you know?
So what I'm trying to show you now China is the paramount nation in the world. They're waging war on them again. They're waging war on us. They're waging war on Russia.
We have to wage war on the clock because we're out of time.
You see, that's all I'm saying.
And we have to pause for the midday newscast, but we shall continue this very exciting debate when we return, okay? Take it away, Trent.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Dealing well with a local reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The St. Kitts and Nevis Solid Waste Management, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We are encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Tuesday each month at the following locations in St. Kitts: the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Deep Bay. In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, Ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottle, flatware set, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Devon Cornelius.
Making the headlines, Minister of Energy and Public Utilities addresses load-shedding exercises on St. Kitts.
The government to grant economic cost for all areas of study at UWI.
The Education Ministry in St. Lucia is set to review HEAR policies at schools following uproar from members of the public about reports of HEAR discrimination against students at the start of the new school year. Internationally, rescue teams have been deployed in southwestern China after an earthquake left hundreds of people stranded or missing. Still in China, the country's exports and imports lost momentum in August, with growth significantly missing forecasts, rattling global financial markets. Now, the details. Following a near island-wide blackout at the end of August at the St. Kitts Electricity Company's Needmust Power Station, the citizens and residents of St. Kitts are on a load-shedding schedule which started on September 5th. Minister of Energy and Public Utilities, the Honourable Conris Maynard, in a statement, said that while the power station should have the capacity to produce 48.9 megawatts of power, which would meet the needs of the island's peak power demand of about 26 megawatts. Over the past couple of months, Skellig has been operating with only enough functioning capacity to narrowly meet the need. In August of 2022, Skellig had a maximum available capacity of around 27.8 megawatts, which is just slightly above the island's peak power demand. The minister further explained that, quote, over the weekend, a 15-year-old 3.9 megawatt capacity generator went out of service due to a fault, which can take up to 3 months to repair. Also over the weekend, additional faults developed on some of these standby generators. To compound the issue further, at present, Skellig is awaiting a replacement part for a 23-year-old 6.1 megawatt generator with an estimated time for completion of repairs of at least 4 months. Skellig also still has within its fleet a 35-year-old generator with a nameplate capacity of 3.5 megawatts that is presently out of service for maintenance. As a result, Skellig is now operating at only 50% capacity, end quote. General Manager of Skellig, Clement Williams, explained in further detail during the September 7th broadcast of Skellig Power Talk on ZIZ. with the failure that occurred on Saturday on one of our generators, we had no choice but to start a load shedding exercise because our capacity had been reduced significantly below what our average demand is. Now, the average demand for the island of St. Kitts right now is about 25 to 26 megawatts. After the failure on Saturday, we went down to as low as 20 megawatts of available capacity. Now, this is about 50% of the rated capacity of the plant, and you can see 20 is less than 25. So therefore, we had to shed 5 megawatts of energy. Significant investment to ensure energy security in St. Kitts is therefore needed. The minister shared that the following were presented to Cabinet as short-term solutions. 1. Repairs on some of the containerized standby generators by Skelec maintenance crew. The estimated time of completion is a few days. Repairs on some other containerized standby generators by specialized technicians of the manufacturer of the units. Arrangements are being made to fly in the technicians. Third, a combination of rental and purchase of additional standby generators such that the generators are not overused but can be adequately rotated to provide additional power capacity while repairs and maintenance are conducted on other units. Regarding the repairs and the replacements of generators, Skelec is optimistic that the remaining load shedding exercises will end within a month. Williams provided an update on some of the repairs that have been made since the load shedding began.
So on Monday afternoon, they were able to replace a radiator. This was able to get an additional 1 megawatt on the system. So by the Tuesday load shedding, we did not have to shed load for as long, or we didn't have to shed load for on such a wide scale as we did say on Monday. Then on Tuesday afternoon, they were able to get another generator online. So that is why today, Wednesday, we were able to start the load shedding at a lot later period than we did on the previous 2 days, because on Monday we got one of the standby generators back, and on Tuesday we got 2 more of the standby generators back on Tuesday. So that is why today we should not have to do a wide area, and as you can see, the schedule is a little more condensed.
The general manager confirmed that approval was given on August 7th for purchasing 2 new containerized generators, temporary standby units not meant for 24/7 operations. As such, the initial month-long exercise may be shortened. Williams shared that they are hoping the shipment of the generators will arrive on Monday, but that is subject to change.
The guys, however, at the power plant are already making the preparations to receive those generators. So as soon as they receive, I think we only need maybe a day and a half to do the exchange and interconnection to have those 2 generators in the system. That would be an additional 3 megawatts, and currently we are at about 25, which would then take our available capacity to 28 megawatts. Once we get to 28 megawatts, we don't see a need for load shedding. But that is just a temporary fix. That is just to get us from load shedding in generally.
What is next as it relates to energy security in the Federation? Minister Maynard stated that he intends to present a comprehensive report on the overall state of affairs of Skelec and energy in the Federation. Skelec's general manager shared that the company is working on creating a more secure energy supply on St. Kitts by sourcing larger capacity generators, while increasing investment in renewable forms of energy available to us on St. Kitts and Nevis.
One of the things I would say, St. Kitts is very blessed. We have solar, we have wind, and luckily we have geothermal. So our energy mix is very diverse, and with the possible interconnection of Nevis, we can be in a position where Nevis can supply St. Kitts can supply Nevis, and we're in a position long term to meet the entire demand of both St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, we had some recent purchases of generators over on Nevis in Nevlec, and similarly, we are going to do the same thing here in St. Kitts. That will take care of our base load. On top of that, we have solar, we have wind, and we have geothermal, which have the potential to meet the demand of the 2 islands 100%, and then we will still have a reliable fleet of generators on the back burner In the event any of the renewable technologies fail for whatever reason, then we are able to just jumpstart the generators and provide a steady and reliable supply to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
The time frame for introducing a steady renewable energy supply in the Federation is 3 to 5 years. Williams shared that the Laclanche solar and battery storage farm should be operationalized shortly. The farm had its kickoff on June 15th and is expected to provide 30 to 35% of St. Kitts' energy for the next 20 to 25 years. The government and Skellig are also in discussions with potential wind farm developers for a possible wind farm in the Bellevue area. As it relates to the geothermal development on Nevis, the target is 2025-2026 to come online. Corporate Communications Manager of Skellig, Patrice Harris, appealed to the general public, reminding them that the situation is a dynamic one and, as such, may change on short notice.
One of the things that we want the public to understand is that this is a very dynamic situation. As we would have stated, from Saturday until now, we have seen some improvements and some changes would have already started to occur as it relates to the load shedding exercise. The public is asked to be patient and to recognize that this is a very unfortunate situation that none of us would want to be in. It's certainly not intentional. I know a lot of those types of comments are being made in the public about Skellig sabotaging and so forth. And we do have a trained cadre of professionals at Skellig, our technicians, our maintenance team, our operations team, who are literally working vociferously around the clock in order to be able to pull us out of this situation.
All nationals of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis studying at the University of the West Indies, UWI, are now eligible for financial assistance from the government. That was announced in a post-cabinet briefing by Cabinet Secretary Dr. Marcus Natter on Monday, September 5th, 2022.
Cabinet has approved the granting of economic cost to all nationals studying at the University of the West Indies in all disciplines, thereby reversing a policy of the previous administration.
Under the former administration, the Human Resource Management Department reviewed the National Priority Areas list, saying it became apparent that there was a saturation of several areas of studies with diminishing return on investment. The areas were general medicine, law, business management administration, and hospitality tourism management, political science, and marketing. The Human Resource Management Department said, quote, a large number of persons who earned degrees in these areas either remain unemployed as the market is not large enough to absorb them, and very few are willing to risk business ownership, end quote. The new policy to approve economic costs for nationals at UWI in all disciplines will take effect for the new academic year 2022 to 2023.
In regional news, the Education Ministry in St. Lucia is set to review hair policies at schools following uproar from members of the public about reports of hair discrimination against students at the start of the new school year. DBS Television St. Lucia has that report.
Debate has resurfaced about discriminatory hair policies in the island schools after reports of incidents on the first day of the academic year of students being denied entry into the classroom because of the school's hair policies. Weighing in on the matter, human rights advocate Felicia Dujon says these hair policies are deeply rooted in racism and discrimination against black people and should not be in a modern society.
It is part of our African culture to create the various styles and textures that we want to create because of who we are as African people. And so we as a society now are telling our children in our society that it is unacceptable to have your hair in that particular way. And if we look at the history and many persons who have done some reflection, there was a period of time within history where black women were not allowed to have their hair uncovered in the public spaces. It was prohibited for them to have their hair out in the open walking in the public spaces. And so those kinds of beliefs have continued to stem within our society. And so what we're seeing right now, it's been targeted towards our young males. So they're not allowed to have their hair out. They're not allowed to comb their hair in a particular way. It has to be very European. It has to be cut low. It has to look a particular way. So that idea of being Europeanized again, it's very much is what is happening within our educational system. And so the argument now is that, perhaps the students need to be groomed. And so grooming a black person means removing every form of identity that they have.
A new advocacy movement, Hair Us Out, is working to bring change in hair discrimination. The group has strongly condemned the actions taken by the schools against the students. The group, over the summer, wrote an open letter to the education minister and is hoping to have an audience with him soon to discuss the issue.
It was towards the opening of school. One of our members was able to speak with the Minister of Education, and he informed us that currently he's busy due to the opening of school, but he would make some time for us. Now, considering what has transpired on the first day of school, where many students were sent home due to not grooming their hair according to the school's rules, we are hoping that, he would reach out to us, as this is a very urgent matter that needs to be dealt with.
The Education Ministry on Tuesday, meanwhile, issued a press release stating that it was aware of the situations at various schools and that it remains committed to reviewing the present positions with a view to addressing the current issues from a holistic standpoint. The press release further stated that the ministry is committed to ensuring that the review will include the thorough participation of all relevant stakeholders in determining the best way forward. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
We now bring you these international reports.
Rescue teams are searching for hundreds of people left stranded or feared missing a day after a strong earthquake hit southwestern China. At least 66 people are now known to have died when the 6.8 magnitude quake struck Sichuan province. Millions of people in the region were already dealing with a COVID-related lockdown. The BBC's Azadeh Mashiri has this report.
A 6.8 magnitude earthquake left of the towns it hit in southwestern China's Sichuan province. Rescue teams have been deployed to find survivors, some trapped under toppled buildings. Authorities say dozens have been killed and warned hundreds of people are still stranded or missing.
We'll continue to seize every minute and second to rescue the injured and check the disaster situation. Carry out rescue work in a scientific and efficient way so as to ensure the injured people are transferred and treated as quickly as possible.
For those still under a strict COVID lockdown, there was no escape from the buildings they've been confined to. And away from urban areas, landslides have destroyed roads and created several obstacles for rescue teams. It's made getting survivors to safety challenging. Teams have sometimes had to use makeshift bridges to carry people through. Police and relief teams have also set up tents and food supplies for anyone who's been displaced by the quake. Here a reporter asks whether the family in this tent has eaten anything. Yes, they say, some instant noodles. Meteorologists have now warned that they're expecting significant rain to follow, making rescue operations even more difficult. Azadeh Mashiri, BBC News.
Trade numbers raised fresh worries for China's economy on Wednesday. Exports and imports both lost momentum in August. They took a hit as soaring inflation hit overseas demand, while fresh lockdowns and heat waves disrupted production at home. Exports rose 7.1% from a year earlier, a big tumble from the 18% gain in July, and way below analyst forecasts. Imports eked out a gain of just 0.3%, also well below forecasts. The disappointing numbers rattled global markets and sent China's yuan currency sharply lower. Economists say it all adds to signs of waning global demand. Falling prices for sea freight had already pointed to a slowdown in shipments to Europe and the US. Cars were one of the few bright spots in August. Auto exports were up by almost a half on the year, boosted by demand for new energy vehicles. Even so, Chinese policymakers face mounting pressure to shore up the country's flagging economy. Earlier this week, Beijing signalled that it was ready to take action, with data all pointing to a drop in growth momentum.
Some of Europe's biggest banks are preparing for a winter of potential power cuts. A number have prepared backup generators and they got set to dim the lights at work so that online banking and ATMs don't go dark. The aim is to support the money system that underpins the region's economy as Russia cuts gas supply to Europe. JP Morgan employs thousands in London and Frankfurt. A source told Reuters it had practiced power outage simulations. They also said the lender could change to diesel generators, which could keep key offices running for several days. Another source said Italy's Unicredit has tested its operational resilience this summer. Its latest disaster recovery test focused on the resilience of data processing, the source said. Deutsche Bank said it was rolling out energy-saving measures across its 1,400 buildings in Germany. It's shutting off hot running water in washrooms and changing workplace temperatures. It also turned off all interior branch lighting and illuminated outdoor advertising overnight. A number of banks have also cut office space and placed staff in fewer buildings. Experts still fear that few companies are prepared for lengthy blackouts of more than a few days. European gas prices have surged in recent months. This week, Russia's state-controlled Gazprom said it would indefinitely extend a shutdown to the major Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline.
An emergency session of the Security Council has been held at the UN in New York to discuss the state of the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine. They heard calls for the immediate creation of a security zone to shield the facility from fighting. Russia is being urged to allow that to go forward. Well, let's talk this through with Hugo Bachega, who's in the capital, Kyiv, for us. Hugo, has there been a reaction to this from President Zelensky?
Yeah, President Zelensky last night welcomed the call from the International Atomic Energy Agency to create a security zone around this nuclear facility. And yesterday, during this emergency session of the United Nations Security Council, the UN chief, Antonio Guterres, repeated his call for the creation of a demilitarized zone around this station. And he laid out two first steps for the creation of this security zone. He said Russia and Ukraine would have to commit to refraining from military activities in and around the station. And the second step would be that Russia would have to agree to remove its troops from the complex, and Ukraine would have to agree that its troops would not be sent in. Now, it's very difficult to see this demilitarized zone being created, at least for now, because Russia has repeatedly rejected calls to remove its troops from the plant. And yesterday, the Russian ambassador to the United Nations again said that Russian forces are actually protecting this nuclear facility. And for weeks, we've been talking about tensions around this area. And I think now there is a permanent presence of the UN nuclear watchdog, with two inspectors who are now based at the Zaporizhzhia complex, and I think there is the hope that this could lead to a de-escalation of tensions there.
Okay, you say there's a hope, but if Russia isn't on board with this latest idea on the part of the UN and the IAEA, where do we progress?
I think that's the big question. And yesterday, before that meeting at the United Nations, the International Atomic Energy Agency released a long-awaited report after inspectors visited the Zaporizhzhia complex last week. The report said that the monitors had observed damage at several locations, including roofs of buildings, the container with radiation monitoring systems. They said there was no risk of any immediate leak of nuclear material, but they said that if the hostilities don't stop, there will be a risk of a nuclear accident. So it really shows how concerned these inspectors are and experts are with the conditions there at the nuclear facility. I think there's also a lot of concern over the situation of the Ukrainian staff operating this facility. The report by the IAEA said they are working under high stress, pressure, saying that the situation is unsustainable. But unless there is a deal with the Russians to remove the military presence that the Russians have at the moment, I don't think that the situation, we're going to see any kind of de-escalation in the tensions there at this complex.
You were listening to the WinFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were: Minister of Energy and Public Utilities addresses load-shedding exercises on St. Kitts.
Government to grant economic cost for all areas of study at UWI.
The Education Ministry in St. Lucia is set to review hair policies at schools following uproar from members of the public about reports of hair discrimination against students at the start of the new school year. Internationally, rescue teams have been deployed in southwestern China after an earthquake left hundreds of people stranded or missing. Still in China, the country's exports and imports lost momentum in August, with growth significantly missing forecasts, rattling global financial markets. Thank you for listening.
That was the WinFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We're encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the following locations: in Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, Ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and the Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. In St. Kitts, every second and fourth Tuesday at the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Dieppe Bay. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottles, flatware, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. So think smart. Take PAT, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service per second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
From the South, 98.9 Win FM weather.
Today's weather comes to you with the kind compliments of Beacon Insurance.
Isn't it great when your experience pays off? Finally, drivers 50 years and over can enjoy the benefits of their years of driving experience. With Beacon's 50 Plus plan, you can expect a hassle-free sign-up, affordable fixed rates, and free windscreen cover with your car insurance. Call Kane Agencies Limited at 465-3333 or log on to beacon.co.tt and get driving today.
Weather forecast for today, St. Kitts and Nevis. Today becoming cloudy with a 60% chance or moderate chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly across the northern parts. Tonight becoming mostly clear with a 30% or low chance of showers and thunderstorms before 10 p.m. Temperatures 81 degrees Fahrenheit, 27 degrees Celsius. Seas 0.6 to 1.2 meters or 2 to 4 feet. Winds south-southeast at 3 to 10 miles per hour today and calm tonight. Sunset will be at 6:20 p.m. That's your weather forecast for today, which came to you with the kind compliments of Beacon Insurance.
Always be sure you settle for more. Get up to 35% off Beacon's fully comprehensive vehicle insurance and still cover a whole lot more. Enjoy higher discounts and better coverage for any kind of vehicle, car, SUV or pickup with free loss of use, windscreen cover and special perils. To sign up, call Kane Agencies Limited at 869-465-3333 or log on to beacon.co.tt and settle for more today.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Valuemart IG Valuclub Blue Tax Specials from August 25th through September 7th. Del Monte Fruit Bowls, 4-pack, $12.99. Nature Valley Granola Bars, $12.99. Kellogg's Special K, $16.99. Simply Punches, $9.99 each. Essential Everyday Sliced Single Cheeses, $8.99. Essential Everyday Pancake Mixes, $9.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. Duncan Hines Cake Mixes, $7.99. New Miller's pasta, $4.99. Dial soap, 3 bars, $9.99. Pepperidge Farm cakes, $19.99. Rice-A-Roni, just $6.99. And Essential Everyday Ketchup, just $4.49. Shop smart, shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
A pleasant good afternoon to our listening and viewing audience. Welcome back to the second half of Voices. Today is, of course, the 8th day of September, and we, of course, are in the hurricane season. Pardon? 7th? Oh, yes, I'm thinking tomorrow, because tomorrow on the 8th we have a meeting with the Minister of Tourism, so I'm thinking ahead. So thanks for the correction. At the same time, I want to send out condolences to the Morgan family. That is actually my family. I had a great nephew pass last evening. So Jennifer Morgan and her twin brother, who was the father, of course, are with you. And if I may just mention for Friday, guest in the studio will be Dr. Lisa Skerritt. We'll be discussing some issues about the herb and, marijuana and all that. So she'll be in the house. So make sure you tune in and make a contribution, okay? So on Friday, on Voices, my guest will be Dr. Lisa Skerritt. So don't miss that, all right? Now, we got into a very dicey discussion during the news interlude there. Okay, Sean, she came down. We had quite a chat, but we have Rascal Industry with us. He came in this morning, and we went through quite a bit of discussion, had some calls from the public. He was challenged about focusing on St. Kitts first, rather than in Africa, because he said that our people are being targeted, we're being victimized, etc. in the U.S. by the policies they would have established. Going back, he mentioned to the 70s, we go way back, long before that. But you say, the case you're making that is still ongoing today, and our people are blissfully unaware, not paying attention. So you're here to bring to update us with some information as to what's happening throughout the diaspora people, St. Kitts, Nevis, Africa, and the U.S., etc., etc. So let's continue that discussion.
Yeah.
The lines are open because we have just about 35 minutes to continue. We don't want to, and we have a caller as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take this caller. Caller 11 Voices. Would have missed that person. Okay, we tolerate the interruptions, but let's go ahead.
No, a call.
Let's take the call. Oh. Caller 11 Voices, welcome to the program.
Oh, Lord.
Wow. I'm going to say just go next time. Still trying? Okay, caller, go. Now come.
Yes, the king.
Okay,
Hello.
Johnny, welcome back. Yes, your Voices.
Yeah, I want to say this, the king. We are aware of the design that is on our continent. We are aware of the many coups that have taken place with our leaders. Now, let us look at Russia and China. But first, let me just remind of people that now the country of Mali had kicked out France a couple months ago this year. Now, China and Russia might have supported Mali in getting rid of France. Now, what has surfaced after France has left Mali? There was a massive grave that was discovered in West Mali, and there was a bit of back and forth, row as to who slaughtered those Malians. The French was accusing Russia. Well, Russia didn't really defend itself, but it goes beyond being silent, because we know that France is behind most of the coups on our continent. Now, we are not saying, or at least I am saying, that our people need to, as much as France being kicked out of Mali, and whether China or Russia has helped them, we are not getting rid of one colonial master to accept another. We have to look within ourselves, because, again, The change is there. We have to be a part of this change. Because what I'm being saying, the King, is that the colonizers divided us. Our unity can only come from within. So we have to look within ourselves, and we can build. And these efforts, these initiatives that have been taken with Mia Motley, you know, when if you've listened to the Africa Caribbean Investment Forum, when you listen to Mia Motley speak, I mean, I have asked myself the question, what can we trade here? But we are not just singing out St. Kitts and Nevis. It's the whole Caribbean. And once that gateway is open, the King, again, I'm going to throw this out there to our people. 100,000 US can start a business in so many different fields on the continent. You don't have to go there to live. Take real estate, for instance. You know, the development that is taking place on the continent that the mainstream media is not showing us. I have thrown out platform for our people to be aware of what is happening. So yes, let us invest. Because I'm looking forward to that, the King. I don't know how much more years I have here. I'm up there with you in age.
Okay.
But
it's a good
we
thing.
have to look within ourselves, the King.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for hearing me.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing that information. Ross, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, but you see, what I'm saying, my brother, is that we are global people. A lot of brothers, especially the Rastafarian movement, they just focus on Africa alone. St. Kitts is Africa. Antigua is Africa. Jamaica is Africa. Barbados is Africa. What we have to do is link. We are the sixth region of the African Union, you know. There's over 400 million black people in the Western world.
You pose a question, or you made a statement, and I agreed. You said it comes down to the leadership. All people in the region are leaders.
Yeah,
Okay.
the people who lead
How
us.
do you see that?
I say, what I'm trying to show you, when I look at the only person in the region I see really, you know, talking about real African consciousness and African, is Sister Mia Motley.
What about Beckers? You talk about
No,
us?
I'm talking about leadership.
Leaders, okay.
Leaders. What I'm saying, I was looking at
So
something.
that poses a challenge then, because we just had a new Prime Minister elected, and Journey is of the opinion that he had an issue. He struggled with at the swearing ceremony, swearing allegiance to the Queen, her heirs, and successors. I did not see it, but Journey said that he had some issues. Was that your impression? Did you watch it?
I watch it.
So if that's his mindset, should we be hopeful that perhaps?
But I didn't really see what Journey is talking about. But what I'm saying to you, no, look at our people. We got all kind of degrees, PhD, all kind of thing. And you're going to tell me that pledging to a queen who have done press our people for hundreds of years, we don't have a problem with that?
The doctorates and the jacket and tie we wear is European.
Yeah, I'm saying to you, you taking
the curriculum was crafted in Europe. We go to UE. It's a mindset that we teach our people.
Imagine this. Imagine I taking a pledge. Let's say I was the Prime Minister being sworn. You're going to tell me I'm going to stand there and take a pledge like that?
Chopper said it best in a song called Put On My Guns. He says, when Garfield Sobers knelt down in front of the Queen of England, he said, a king in his right cannot be a knight.
but that's what that is the point I'm making.
We need the mindset of the Charters.
Listen what I'm saying. In the last election, my campaign strategy, we have to change the system. The same system, right? That oppress our people all through the 400 years of slavery.
Let's take this caller, Ross. Caller, you're live on Voices. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices.
Hello, good day, King Socrates.
Good day, sir. Welcome
and
to the program.
Ras brother there.
Yes, Ras Koloji.
Socrates.
Yes, sir.
I totally agree with you, the mindset.
Yes.
The brother just called in and he spoke eloquently about it only takes 100,000 US to start a business in Africa. You're talking the talk. Have you walked the walk? Because he have a business in Africa. He makes it sound easy. And one has to sit back and wonder, is that easy? You know, I mean, this is a time when we should really, as a people, start leading by example. When we sit back and we talk about Mia Motley, she's leading by example.
Correct.
Instead of our Prime Minister, somebody claimed that our Prime Minister had struggles trying to swear allegiance to the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
What is he going to do about it? He's head of state.
That's a good question.
He's head of state. What is he going to do about it? I find we as a people, and I include myself sometimes because I struggle to do things. I got ideas, but to
Implementing, yes.
It's not easy in the first place, and you get fight down from others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I know there are projects that I put forth here, and people watch me and they move on.
Mm-hmm.
But a man from of a different color come in here and quote them some kind of prices that I didn't even think about, and they buy into it.
He gets a nod. It's a
They buy
mindset.
into it.
It's a mindset of our people.
The mindset. That's why I said I agree with you, Socrates.
I appreciate
But
that.
let me pose a question. How do we get rid of the mindset?
Well, you know, there's a talk about starting with number one, you know, so that's where I'm at.
I hear you.
I kind of try to push on and do what I have to do. You know,
I think
push on and
we
do what
have to
to
reach
do.
the next generation.
I'm of the mindset that anything that they do out there, we can do it here, and I've done that. And I've spoken to heads of governments here and tell them we need a proper vocational technical college in the schools, especially here in Nevis. I mean, I went to CFBC for a short while, and the machine shop there I've used, the machine shop at the factory I've used. Here in Charleston, we have a little semblance of a machine shop. I've used that to the extent that I could, but you get over a certain length and you can't do it.
Okay.
You know, we need to set ourselves up so that the young fellows could come out of school if they didn't achieve academically.
Mm-hmm.
They could boast that they could do something. Right now, they started a drag strip here.
Yes, it is.
And I know there's a lot more to do with drag racing than I beat you, and me come first. Them kind of nonsense. You know, how about the ways and means of coming first, where a man could tune an engine.
Yes.
Cut off this, put on that, add this, add that, and create more power. To me, that is opening up the intelligence of the man. I mean, I'm a mechanic by trade, but you know, I do not get into this drag racing thing. I'm more for fabrication. If I do get down there, what I'll do is I'll build up something that looks a little different and go down there and exhibit it. That's the extent of my thing. But this drag racing thing, it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money.
But it shows our skill set of our people. It also shows that the entrepreneurship of our people wanted to get involved with other things just beyond the normal sphere there.
Yeah, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. But anyway, let me just make one last point.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the drag racing, our leaders gave that to the young men without guidance, because you see, they're getting into the expensive part of it, where they're just buying and bringing in guys to do this and bringing in guys to that. But are they engaged in doing it themselves? Are they learning to do it themselves? Because it could get very expensive if you got to pay somebody to do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It could get very expensive. Drag racing is a very expensive sport.
Goes beyond being recreational.
It seems to me like we are going down the drain, wasting our resources instead of we're losing more going down the drain, wasting the resources than what we are getting socially, if you see what I mean.
I get you.
Yep. All right, nice program. Take care.
Thank you very much for that. Now, it's engaging the talents of youth beyond just the recreational, because that can be career building.
Because he was talking about the technical aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Career
what I'm saying?
building.
Yeah. But okay, we have a problem now with load shedding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever machines, whatever generation are the generators that we got to start to reach to a point where we make these things for ourselves.
Well, he spoke about the technical college and the limitations that we're facing. So he's asking the government to look at that particular aspect and invest more in the people to create that skill set.
I understand what he's saying, but what I'm trying to show you, instead of just talking about it, it's time to implement it.
Take the call for me.
Oh, God.
Okay. Gone again. By the way, I need to pose a question that's been asked by a driver. Why are they so concerned? Okay, let's take this call. Caller, are you live on Voices?
Hi, the King. I'm back.
Yes, sir.
I'm listening to the conversation and even the uneasiness of our Prime Minister repeating the words of the judge then.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to realize the psychology on our mind and the longevity of that psychology. When we were told that we were rescued from Africa, the cannibalistic and the tribalistic and all the ethics that we had was to face. So why not respect these people for rescuing us? And that's the psychology on our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now what we do, myself and others, it is a labor of love, because to undo the psychological effect, the psychological trauma of the mind, seems like it will take 3-4 generations of people, even though people listen to us. I am not perturbed as to who don't really adhere to what I have to say. My objective is to put the word out there. And like the planter, the sower that went and sowed the seed, some of the seeds is going to fall on rocky soil, but some going to catch on good ground. And that's my approach to this whole thing. I am not perturbed.
Okay.
If one listen and one adhere to, that's a multiplying effect.
Well,
one will multiply, and that's the work that we're committed to do.
I am
So,
concerned.
pledging allegiance,
I'm concerned with the mindset of people who have 12 short years from now, which will be 2034, representing 200 years since the Emancipation Proclamation here in St. Kitts, because the U.S. had a different time frame. I was in 1834. So 2034, which is 12 short years from now, what mindset will we have? How do we measure our progress since that Emancipation Proclamation here in St. Kitts? Which were the British colonies,
we are
I should
getting
say.
there, but some will say not fast enough. But we are getting there nonetheless.
We're getting there, you think?
Professor, what his name is?
Beckers?
The member will say, well, the African Union is a toothless bulldog. But he considers it to be a bulldog nevertheless. So we are getting there, however short or small or however less the multiplying effect might be. We are getting there.
Where is there? What is the
We're having a
goalpost?
conversation.
Where's the goalpost? You say we're getting there. What is there?
There, because we see our dear mother, the only lone female prime minister in the Caribbean, she is having an impact on the other prime ministers, like our young prime minister, Dr. Terence Joe.
So, okay.
He would be impacted by her effort. Like I said to the other, Miss Motley just didn't get this information yesterday. She was groomed into it for a long time. Her conscience was pricked by it, and she decided now she has to speak as a leader. Likewise, others will emulate her and see her as a mother figure, taking the mantle forward, because some of our men leaders, they are afraid in the sense that, yes, they're in leadership, but when it comes to the status quo, they will get killed.
Okay.
I can tell you that Miss Motley is a fearless person. She has
We're not doubting that. We're not doubting that.
Huh?
We're not doubting that. But I want to pose this question to you, and we have to take other callers. Are you saying that we will achieve in the next 12 years what we were unable to achieve in the last 188 years in terms of our emancipation a mentality.
In my opinion, I would like it to be achieved sooner, but if 12 years are beyond, we would achieve it, the king. Let us plant the seed. Let us set the thing and plant the seed and pass the baton.
All right, sir.
Thanks.
Yes, you there? The caller. Have another call? Have another call? Okay. King, what I was saying also, right, is that when we look at the whole cannabis industry, because so you're going to have a discussion.
Dr. Lisa Skerry to be on Friday for that. But go ahead.
And we have a call. Call, go ahead.
Quickly, the king. To the caller in Nevis who said that 100,000, I make it sound so nice. Let me say this also, and forgive me for not pointing this out. We are aware of those who are going to con us on the continent. Because, the business on the continent in us here too. Now, to the caller in Nevis, let me say to him that he can Google ADDI. That's ADDI, that's Africa Diaspora Investment Initiative. African Diaspora Development Initiative. This is a legitimate platform where you can put your money to work for you on the continent. That's ADDI.org. So if he's interested, and let me say this also, there was an initiative for us to go to Ghana last month, put on by Dr. Mr. Blake. That initiative didn't come across because the figures that he wanted to get at least 30 people to travel as a group, and most of our people didn't show any interest. I was a part of that. Now, I am saying, and in that group, we were going to travel to the UK. But I don't want to go to the UK. I don't want to go to America. So now this gateway that is going to be opening up, well, let us hope it opens by October this year. But if not, I am waiting for that gateway to open so I can travel as an individual. But again, to the caller in Nevis, Google ADDI.org. And you would get in contact with a lady she was the ambassador to Washington for the past 4 years, Dr. Arikana Chimbori Kwao. And this way you can put your money to work for you on the continent. Thank you for hearing me, the King.
Thank you for that information. It's vital. It's very important. It answers the question that the caller asked about how. There would be a lot of fine prints, of course, but at least you now have an avenue of traveling that, as you say, don't have to go to the UK. It'll be so cost prohibitive. Where were we now?
We was talking about the whole initiative around the cannabis industry.
Yes.
No. I'm talking about the industrial part of it. The industrial part of the cannabis industry. Over 300 new industries could be created from that, People making varnishes for paints. The whole question of the fuel. And so all these things could be developed. So what I'm trying to show is that sometimes our people look at things and they think, well, ain't nothing that we could do.
A non-starter.
Yeah,
Just have the negative.
And there's so much things that we could do. Now, I want to tie that into black people struggle globally. What we don't understand is that the forces of oppression, which is led by the United States and imperialism and the fascist forces, have a strategy called full spectrum dominance. It's just like the same strategy that Hitler had where he wanted to dominate the world. The problem that is taking place when you hear me talking about a black organization in the United States, where the United States government is attacking, they are the same domestic policy that they have. They put it on the international scene. The domestic policy. Yeah, the domestic policy towards black people is not but the foreign policy on an international scale. So I want our people to see black people struggle as one as the same struggle. People talk, well, are you only concerned about St. Kitts? Well, if the United States make a decision, so well, certain banks here, you can't do certain international transaction, the SWIFT system. Then you can't do business from one bank to the next.
Because we're interlinked.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to show you, we got to develop our own banking system. So we could be outside of the scope of the SWIFT.
Wasn't Gaddafi doing something similar?
Exactly. That's why he was
killed.
killed.
What happened to him?
That's why he was killed.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to show you is that our people only see, right, certain things within a certain framework. We could develop our own framework.
Well, going back to the Gaddafi thing. Okay, there's a caller. I want to develop this thing with the Gaddafi, but let's say it's caller. Call 11 Voices.
Call.
In the meantime, there was so much stigma assigned to Gaddafi that our people took the same attitude as we had taken previously with Cuba. We didn't want to associate.
Exactly.
We didn't want to associate with Castro because he was communist, blah, 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 blah. Or we don't want to associate with Gaddafi because he's African and he's killing people. That was totally, totally wrong.
False.
You know, have you called some years prior to that with George Bush? Okay, take this call. Call 11 Voices.
Hey, King Sakuti.
Yes, sir.
I have to call back.
Okay, go right ahead.
You know the reason I'm calling back?
To counterpoint?
It's because that gentleman, I would like to thank him. I'm showing much love and appreciation to him because you remember I said it was like talk shop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't give the information, but he called back and he gave the information. I thank him very much. ADDI.org. I'm going to look into it.
Wonderful. He appreciates that.
You see what conversation
Carlito, yes.
Provocation for information.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that he's following and
he's well researched.
Back with the information.
He's well researched.
Much love and appreciation to you, brother.
And thank you for that call because it's very important to him, not only to him, but people understand that once you're sharing information, and there's a forum where that is tabled.
If I see something that don't give much benefit,
mm-hmm.
I call on it. And instead of coming back with an adversarial, he came back and he gave some information, and I appreciate that.
Wonderful.
I don't know who it is, but I have.
He's on his journey. He's on his journey, and he's a frequent caller.
It's the way we're gonna get forward as a people.
Lovely. Well said. Much appreciated.
Right,
if no call there, we have to go downtown and give Caesar his due and come right back. Okay? We have to do this pretty often. Ready for Caesar?
Horseman's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Horseman's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less. With our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Don't stop, won't stop, can't stop the never-ending cashback at Horseman's. Yes, it's that time of the year. Double cashback coupon season is here. The season when Horseman's Furniture and Appliances gives away millions in free groceries with every FlexPay purchase and a chance to win 1 year in free groceries with a never-ending double cashback. Yes, the Horseman's never-ending double cashback is back for even more free groceries. This is double cashback coupon season, so come today and get double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries in the never-ending double cashback promotion. Yes, happening now. Get double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries with every higher purchase. The never-ending double cashback is back at Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store, where you get double cashback coupons for free groceries with every FlexPay purchase. Don't stop, won't stop, can't stop the never-ending savings, never-ending discounts, never-ending quality and service, and the never-ending double cashback for this double cashback coupon season. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to Voices. We have Rascal and Journey back today, and we've had some very exciting discussions. And I think Journey will be happy with the fact that the caller from Nevis, called back to thank him for the information he shared. And what you say about that?
No, what I was saying, that is good, because that's what we're about, sharing information. Because a lot of times when people talk, like, I don't talk unless I have the proper information. I'm not going to come here and say something that I can substantiate. You understand? So what I'm trying to show is that what we are talking about in terms of our people coming together, it could be done.
I just mentioned the
Plessy versus
Jim Crow laws.
Yeah.
And the Dred Scott case.
Yeah.
And I was saying the other one, and you said Plessy versus Ferguson. You have the documents right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to show you. So what I'm trying to show you is that a lot of time our people get pessimistic that these things, it could be done. It just need our people coming together and show the solidarity that these things could be done. You understand? So I'm highlighting these things to show our people that the same forces that are against our people is the same forces that is against Russia and is against China. Full spectrum dominance, right? Is a doctrine, what the United States, is a military doctrine, where the United States want to control the whole entire globe. And they see we, black people, Russia and China, as a threat to that full spectrum dominance. So people saying, oh, well, you're accepting one colonizer for the next. We're in the same bracket as the people who they're attacking. They're attacking we, the African People's Socialist Party, and other black organizations within the United States. We could look from a historical standpoint. Dr. King was a communist.
Labeled.
They label all our leaders communists.
Well, I ask a question. If you were to say, who do you see as the lesser of two evils? The U.S. or Russia?
Definitely Russia is the lesser of two evils.
Okay. In the U.S., they tolerate opposition. In Russia, they tolerate, even though there are mechanisms to deal with that. In Russia, you have no say. Look at what happened to the guy who was opposing Putin. Malvern, I forget his name. I can't pronounce his name.
Let me say something.
Right? He was opposing Putin's policies. Look what happened to him. Where's he now?
There's no opposition in the U.S. There's no difference between the Democrat and the Republican.
There is opposition.
No.
It may be, but there's opposition. You can protest. Look at Black Lives Movement, etc. They may not be as what you would want them to be, but in Russia, you can't have those same
let me say, okay, look at our situation.
Which one here in St. Kitts?
In St. Kitts. We should have our opposition. We're in the same boat. We have a
But
permanent...
you told me you were having a party to run for the last election.
Yes, but the point I'm saying, we got to get on one page. We have to come on one page.
You must tolerate opposition.
No,
you must.
Listen what I'm saying to you. But all of us went through, our ancestors went through enslavement. We came here on the same slave ship, right? If I have a strategy to escape, the only difference between me and you, Socrates, is the tactic to escape. The politics that we have today is Westminster.
I understand that.
It is designed to keep us apart.
I understand that. But in any democratic process, everybody won't agree. You will have the voice of the opposition.
Let me ask you a question.
So you have dialogue and you put policies for the betterment of the whole.
Let me ask you a question. You're talking about democracy. The same people who come up with the concept of democracy is the one who enslaved us. There was democracy in slavery. There was a democracy before 1952.
Before 1952?
Yeah, when we got annual suffrage.
Oh, you're talking about here in St. Kitts?
Yeah, in St. Kitts.
Okay.
Where was the democracy?
It didn't apply to us.
Exactly. So how come now? Right? We got so-called democracy.
We've gone from being let's take it with Mr. Bradshaw. He was championing the voice of the working class, right? Against the establishment. He then became the establishment.
But he ain't changed the system. That's the problem.
I know, because he was still the president of the union and still the premier. But he, of himself, at that time, could not change the whole system. because we are still first a state, we're still a colony. We're into neo-colonialism, where all the dictators that govern the country came from the UK.
Exactly. So we in a position now to change all of that.
Let's take the call. Call your 11 voices.
Yeah, quickly, the king.
Yes,
now,
sir.
just to strengthen what Kalonji is saying, right, I'm going to take us back to the Berlin Conference. Now, when they cut up our continent, now Africa was invited there. Russia wasn't a part of it. Now, I am saying, looking to ourselves, we are not saying that we're going to look to ourselves in isolation, because today, the world needs Africa. When we are saying that we're going to build the continent that we want, they're going to come to the table by invitation. Because if we look at what happened in the Berlin Conference, no Africans was invited.
We were not
now,
invited.
Who gave them the right? Who gave them that right to carve up our continent without, they cut up our cake and they kept it all for themselves? Well, looking towards ourselves now, to build for ourselves, they're going to be invited. We're going to invite them to the table. But we're going to have our own narrative and our own agenda for ourselves, to build for ourselves. You know, I mean, this is the message we're trying to relate to our people, because you see, our people are comfortable in this matrix, this Babylon system.
Do you have a time frame? Can you predict a time frame for that meeting when we control the table?
The thing is, right, the initiatives are being started. Mayor Motley have started it. South African politician Nadia Pandey is sending that message. But you see, the common man on the street are not gravitating to it because, again, social media...
What about our leaders?
In TikTok, you see, remember I've said earlier, right, we are at war. We are at war on many spheres. Even food that we're eating and social media is a device to keep us distracted. Will Smith slapping off Chris Rock was a distraction when they met in Dubai to usher in the New World Order. So you see, we have to be aware of these things and start to pay attention, because the enemy, like someone said on a different radio station, America knows it is down, America knows it is crippled, the dollar is crippled, but they're not going to give up without a fight. Because yes, America has some of the most wealthiest people. But look at our natural resources. We are the rarest commodity on the planet, yes.
Johnny, my question is, you mentioned the fact that Mayor Motley took the initiative. You also mentioned the common man in the street. We are looking at those who will follow her example, our political leaders, because the common man in the street, even though he elected somebody to represent his interests, will not get what he wants by the way they operate. So our leaders, I asked about the time frame. You say the common man in the street may become more aware, and we can actually push the agenda. But the thing is, our political leaders, do you have any hope for them?
Let us hope that our Prime Minister-elect Jew would take that initiative and lend support to Mayor Motley and cause awareness to our people, because we cannot continue in this system. You see, again, I have said we have no shots to fire. The superpowers of the world intimidate us because they have their weapon of death. We have no shots to fire. Remember, we rule the world without guns. They conquer us through guns, and now they're ruling it by guns and intimidation. So we know our word, because you see, they cannot annihilate us. We are the majority. And again, they know who we are. So therefore, hide our history from us, and the damage of colonialism and slavery, it is not surface, it is deep. And that is why today we are not even hating ourselves. No, we are killing ourselves. And our leaders have to take that stand to bring us back together. That's what we are saying, the King. This is my message to our people. We have to unite. We have to start loving ourselves. And I'm saying love ourselves doesn't mean that we hate them. But when we love ourselves, we know the common enemy become irrelevant. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you once again for your contribution. 188 years since emancipation. 188 years. We have 12 more years to go. And so far, we can tell you about the crabs in a barrel syndrome, how much it affected the people, the mindset. Can we change that mindset over the next 12 years?
We could do it through education.
Right. So I suggested we start again in the primary school. I interviewed 2 educators in Sandy Point a few months ago, over a year ago, on my program, the Sandy Point Heritage Society. One was 99 years at the time of the interview. She's now 100 years old. And as I educate all her life. And among the many things we discuss, and I asked about, she knew nothing about what Pompey represented beyond being where you went to get fish, etc., etc.
So I didn't get that.
What Pompey in Sandy Point.
Oh, Pompey.
You know, well, that's where you went to get fish. But she was educated all her life. Another one told me that it was the British about education system here, which we agree. But what they taught was on the curriculum to educate our people about ourselves, our struggles, and what we need to do to reestablish ourselves in the world. So you find you have to reach that next, what they call generation next, at that level, to re-educate. We have first to re-educate ourselves. If not, we can't reach the next generation. Caller, live on Voices. Okay, we lost the caller. So until we have that mindset, Journey and yourself keep saying we. Have you identified we? You say our people. Our people seem not concerned. Right?
But look here.
When UNESCO offered to build a monument to slavery here in St. Kitts, and many were saying Independence Square, the people of the lighter complexion took up a petition, got signatures to say no. People of my complexion went to the strip to jump up and wave. We had no concern. So until we have that collective awareness, we're going nowhere full speed. The people who signed the petition were like the Fosberries and those folks that had no interest of seeing a monument to slavery in what we call Independence Square. What did we do? We weren't concerned. So the thing is, who is we? Who are we? Well, how do we identify? How do we get that collective consciousness to move forward? That is a challenge. 188 years has passed since we were declared free. We know the struggles we've been going through. We know all the pull down, the fight amongst ourselves. We know the challenges trying to survive on neocolonialism. But with that awareness and occasion that we need, we have 12 years before we say it's been 200 years since the emancipation of slavery throughout the British colonies.
But you know, it's only 4 more years before, right? 2026, when the first documented African came on the soil.
On which soil?
St. Kitts. Yeah.
Okay.
I have the documentation. In 16,
so what year was it? 16 what?
26.
Yes.
When I think they came from Senegal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what I'm saying, that's 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know about the 1619 project.
I know that it was the one who sang the song about Amazing Grace, John Newton.
Mm-hmm.
He landed about 400 enslaved persons from Senegal at Pompey and Sandy Point.
But not only that, but look at the hymns them. He was one of the major instrumental writing these Christian hymns.
Where did he get? No. Let's talk. Let's take Amazing Grace. Where he got the melody from?
I'm not aware of that.
Africans sang in the bowels of the ship. They were humming this song. It was a spiritual song.
Okay.
So you'll find documented. He's the author of the lyrics, not of the melody.
Good.
It came from us in the bowels of the ship.
Yeah.
In our spiritual mind, in our struggle, in our chains, we were humming. Is that African spiritual struggle?
Yeah. But what I'm saying, you're talking about how we people going to get this knowledge, right? We could have a whole re-education of the society. The government could implement that.
We have to engage the government. They're not going to just adopt overnight a policy to re-educate.
I agree.
They come from you, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
And university.
I agree.
With jacket and tie and doctorates.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, well, you see, the one
Let's
thing
take this call quickly. Caller, you're live on Voices. Hello, caller, you're live on Voices?
Hello?
Yes, you're live on Voices.
Hi, good day, sir. Thank you very much. I'd like to say, first and foremost, give thanks and praises to our Black God, Mother and Father Africa. So once you begin to understand the story, the Afro, the funk, Rasta, the Bob Marley story, the Malcolm X, the Rastafari story, Ethiopia, then you understand the African Union and the Agenda 2063. But everybody's looking for something else, and there's a black do this. No, plug in to Agenda 2063. The leaders have to do it. They have no choice because it's not their frequency. It's Mother and Father Africa's frequency. She knows that you were ripped out of her bosom. Even for 400 years, she knows where you are. And she's calling us back. It's about we want to go back or not. A generation must come back because it's for us, for me and you to decide. It's Mother Africa saying she wants her children back onto Zion. You can't stop it. So plug in to the African Union. There's an agenda. There's an actual agenda for black people.
2063?
It's already there. It's a matter for the leaders to plug in. Some are already plugging in, like Barbados and Haiti, Jamaica. We just have to speed up and plug in. You have to bring nothing new. It's called village democracy. You don't need no this and that. It's village democracy. You know what it is. We have to just plug in. Trade is going to now happen with the diaspora in Africa. I mean, it's going to be the biggest thing. It's going to especially diaspora, Africa diaspora tourism. You know, God knows you can't lock up people for 400 years and think God doesn't know. Woe be unto you, Belgium and those guys. I mean, come on, people, man. Time is done.
God.
It has to. You have your Bob Marley who's telling you about it. Says that we're going to just forget all them things.
Don't forget Marcus Garvey, eh?
Of course not, sir. Of course not. 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 Steve Baker on the rest side. Of course not.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're just saying plug in. We don't have to go come with no big ideas. It's already there. But we don't have the faith or we criticize. African Union, not a kind of nothing for us. No. It's the most powerful frequency on the planet. Organized from the spirit.
I think we're losing you. Are you still there?
With Patrice Malumba. I mean, what do you want? You don't want to plan something else? Let's plug back in. Sorry, let's plug in. Not back in, but plug in to our forward-going African Union and plug in. Those have the capacity. Go Africa, take in a little something, come back, and share. I ask the government, please, put more information on the radio about Mother and about African Union and your Agenda 63. That's the problem.
Okay,
Come on, man.
Okay, sir.
We were thinking this and we could do this and we could try. We'll know what to do if you plug in.
We want to thank you so very much for that contribution. We got about 5 minutes before we wrap things up today. So thank you, caller. Russ, respond to that for me if you can.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying to you is that, the caller is saying plug in. The way how I see this thing, we are part of the African Union, the 6th region. I'm saying that we have to come together as a people, globally. Wherever we are on the continent, we have to have the same interests. You mentioned something about democracy before. And that's what got our people messed up. We think we're in a democracy and these people telling us about democracy, then they're still exploiting us. Globally, our condition is the same everywhere we are. So what I'm saying, whatever jurisdiction you are in, let us start to embrace each other. Let us start to look out for each other. Let us start to look about what is in our people's interests here locally and then expand it regionally and internationally. Because what Granny say, free the land and get rid of the colonial system. I'm saying to our people, my brother, that what is taking place on the globe right now, right, with the inflation and all these things, our local people are saying every time we go to the supermarket, the prices are going up. Well, let us start talk about making the things that we import. We have to start somewhere. And I'm saying to our people, the cannabis industry allows us that opportunity where we could start doing a lot of things for ourselves. Marcus Garvey mantra. What was Marcus Garvey mantra? Support your own, do for yourself. Self-reliance, self-respect, and self-determination.
Are you part of the Marijuana Commission?
No, I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not, no.
So you will be able to speak to what was promised by the former Prime Minister?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No.
Do you have any insight as to how the current Prime Minister may approach this issue?
No, well, the Attorney General was here on the radio on Win FM some time ago.
Speaking about that, I
Yeah, he's saying that, well, one of the comments that he made, he said that, like, you know, people allow certain amount of trees in the yard, but the police was still going around and
that's a fact.
And pulling them out. He's saying that they're instructing the police to stop that. And they're going to make an announcement on the cannabis, whether it's the medical marijuana, the cannabis industry, shortly. So we got to wait and hear what they have to say.
I would have missed that, so I'm glad I raised a question.
Yeah.
Because, well, perhaps I am going to do some research so that when Dr. Skerritt comes on Friday, I'll be better informed to engage in that topic. Because somebody mentioned about the amount of land would be required to plant hemp. And they said Guyana, who had that vast amount of acreage, can easily do so. We can't.
No, we could.
Sometimes people sound negative first. I'm just saying that was a response. I'd like to hear more about that and what the potential is when it comes to being involved in this industry and the markets that will be required to make it viable.
The hemp industry, there's a document show, the hemp revolution. The difference with hemp is that you don't need a lot of land, it can grow tall. The trees get real tall, and the fibers from the hemp is more sustainable than any other fiber in the world. So there's so much things that you could produce from it, clothing, shoes, in building material. You know what I'm saying? There's a vast variety of things that we could produce from the hemp industry. So I'm saying to our people that when you hear these new ideas, because, a lot of people think, the Rasta man them just want to talk about ganja because they just want to smoke. No, it's deeper than that. Not only the medical marijuana, but the industrial use
quickly
of the marijuana.
Tell me about the global opposition to this.
The global opposition
let's go to America, because there was from Big Pharma there was opposition to the use of marijuana as a medicinal product and for the production of hemp, etc.
Because they want to keep making money. Just like the COVID, and now we have the vaccine. Is the pharmaceutical industrial complex make billions of dollars. So what I'm saying to you, they don't want you to develop nothing else. Because, you know, when ganja was legal before 1932, the reason why they make ganja illegal because the oil companies wanted to make products from the oil, like plastics and stuff like that. So what they do, through the rich, they get Congress in the United States
legislation
to make it illegal. To make it illegal. Take for instance rope for ships. The strongest rope come from hemp. George Bush father was a hemp grower. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to show our people is that the hemp industry is the future for our people. Fuel could be made from hemp.
I'm going to have to come back and show us the next time because
But I just like to end by what Granny say. What Granny say? Free the land and get rid of the colonial system. And what all I want our people to do, that everywhere our people beyond the globe show solidarity with one another. Our struggle is one and the same because we have the same colonizers.
On that note, we want to thank all of viewers and listeners for once again joining us here with Voices on Win FM 98.9. And God's willing, I'll be back on Friday with Dr. Lisa Skerritt. We'll be discussing more of the hemp industry, the marijuana industry, etc., etc. So please stay tuned. In the meantime, stay safe, be kind to one another, and embrace your African.
But before we go, Brother Socrates,
quickly.
Yeah. When Mr. Blinken was in Africa, in the press conference, he said Africa is the future. Imagine that, and we Africans don't think Africa is the future, but he knows that.
Another place, another time, we'll discuss, right? Thank you, guys. Thanks for viewing, and God's willing, see you. See me on Friday. Bye now.
Foster's Value Mart IG Value Club Blue Tax Specials from August 25th through September 7th. Del Monte Fruit Bowls 4-pack, $12.99. Nature